Hello everybody and welcome to Infinite Chronos. I am your humble host, Eric, and I am so very grateful that you have stopped by today. Today we're going to be taking a look at a pilot watch right here that you can pick up on AliExpress. Now it runs for about $142 or so, and I'll leave a link in the description if you think you'd like to pick one of these up. Now this watch is from San Martin, and they are typically known for creating some really well executed, well done timepieces. But does this pilot watch that they developed and came out with, does this hold up to that same standard as all their other great watches? Well, let's go check it out. All right, so let's get all the boring spec stuff out of the way, and then we'll get to the actual watch and the real fun. Okay, so this has a case diameter of 40 millimeters, a case width of 13 millimeters, and a lug-to-lug of 47, a lug width of 20. This is using a sapphire crystal, 100 meters of water resistance, and the movement is the YN55, which we'll talk about a little bit, and the weight is 90 grams. Now, it's all the case, the bezel, case back, even the keepers, are bead blasted 316L stainless steel. That looks really nice overall. Very tool watchy looking-y stuff. So what are my overall impressions on this watch? Just for starter's sake, let's start there. 3G. Now that's obviously a pilot watch of some kind here, but there's not really a cool or catchy name for it that I think it should have. I don't know. Maybe it could be called the P51 or I don't know, something like that. Anyway, all right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the case and check that out. So as I mentioned in the specs, this is all 316L stainless steel, bead blasted. The case, the bezel, the case back, the keepers, the blah, blah, blah. You get it. It does give the watch this real kind of a straightforward, tooly looking feel to it, which is what you're looking for in a pilot watch. You don't want anything super decorative, in fact. So really good execution there. The lugs on the watch do turn down a bit, which is really nice, and that allows the case to fit a little closer to your wrist, and it keeps it from kind of sliding around and stuff. That, and it's got this really nice nylon strap that comes with it. So we can talk about that in a little bit. The crown is large enough and super easy to use. It's a 8 millimeter crown and large enough to use even with gloved hands. See, I even put a little video here of me changing the time with my hands in gloves, just so you could see how great that is. Anyway, the crown does have a signed, is signed, I should say. The crown is signed with the San Martin logo. That's kind of neato. So if we go up the side of the case and now we start hitting the bezel, again, bead blasted steel. Wow, shock. It is coin edged, and I do like the way it kind of molds into the crystal. So it kind of if you look at the arc of the bezel, the way it moves into the crystal, it's kind of like a complete look. So that's a little bit geeky, I get it, but I kind of liked it, and I thought that was really cool. We do have the sapphire crystal, which is also really nice, and I do believe there is some AR undercoating on it, probably not a whole lot, but there's a little bit on there. And then finally we come around to the screw down case back, which again, wow, there is nothing on here. It is blank. This looks like the Sahara Desert in the back here. It is just nothing. And again, that's what you want. It's a tool watch. So, yeah. But anyway, let's go ahead now and let's go into the movement of the watch. So here we have the Epson YN55, which is essentially an unbranded version of the Orient F6722. Now, you all heard Epson. Yeah, that's right. That's that company. Some of you guys remember, they used to do printers and stuff, but now they got into watch movements. Anyway, long time ago. They even own, I think, Seiko. Yeah, they even own them too. So now this movement does have a date complication, which is not used on the watch. So you are going to have a ghost date position here. So just keep that in mind. That doesn't bother me. Some people get kind of bent out of shape about stuff like that. I really don't care. What is it? One more click? Come on. It's not like we're exerting that much extra force to change the time. And it is an automatic movement. This is 22 joules, 40-hour power reserve. Beats at 21,600 beats per hour, so 6 ticks per second. Accurate to -25 to +35 a day. You know, the standard stuff. This is very comparable to a Seiko NH35. Now, when I did measure the accuracy on mine, I was finding it to run at about -2 to +0.9 seconds a day. So that's a whole lot better than what the manufacturer is listing for the accuracy. So anyway, like I said, very comparable to the NH35. And as far as any decoration on the watch goes, there is none. Again, let's go back to the whole, this is a tool watch. So next, we're going to take a look at the dial and hands. All right, boys and girls, here we have the dial and hands. Yes. Now take a look at the dial. It's flat black. That's what you would expect. Very basic and very uncluttered. This watch is really easy to read. You have the San Martin logo at the 12 o'clock position, and in a very basic text font, you have the words automatic and 100 meters equals 300 feet. And that's just printed above the 6 o'clock position. I cannot tell you enough how easy this watch is to read. All of the indices and the text are printed on the dial. Super easy to read. The font is super duper legible. Again, go back to all those things I've been saying. Tool watch. Yeah. So all of the indices and so forth, they appear very evenly spaced, and I don't find any misalignment on my particular watch. Again, all of this super legible. You have the orientation triangle, or in this case, an arrow just below the 12 o'clock indicator. So you have noticed, you may have noticed that in place of the standard 1 through 12 numbering, as found on most other watches, this dial is numbered in increments of 5. Again, referencing, I kind of feel like it's referencing a Type B Flieger watch. Again, this watch, the dial on this watch, I should say, prioritizes minutes over hours. And from the research I've done, when you were, like in World War II and so forth, bombardiers and bombers were more concerned with the minutes because they had to time the bomb drops up to the minute. And when you were coordinating with, you know, a squadron of bombers, you kind of had to synchronize and be right to the minute in order to know right where to drop those bombs. Now, usually there are hour markings on the inner ring, like a Type B Flieger. But on this case, it's just a minute hand. So you're going to have to use your imagination here and pretend that there's 1 through 12, which that's not real hard if you're used to reading a watch. Now, the hour and minute hand, they're very much a sword type hand, very basic, lume filled, super easy to read. So this test ran approximately 12 minutes in total, but I'm going to compress it here and make it a little bit easier. So right in the center, you've got the San Martin Pilot Watch that is coated in a C3 Super Luminova that they call Retro. To the right is the Seiko 5 Landshark that's using the proprietary Lume Bright. And then on the left, you have the Bodary Landmaster, which is using the glass tubes that are filled with a liquid type lume. But you can tell they all start off really well, really nice. That San Martin is super easy to read. But by the end of the 12-minute test, you're going to see, well, the San Martin actually still is holding on. You've got the hour and the minute hand, and then you have some central indices. So you've got the 12, the 3, the 6, and the 9 that are still kind of visible there. And then, of course, you have barely visible on the far right-hand side, you have the Seiko 5 Landshark. So overall, I think the San Martin Pilot Watch, really well done, really well coated with lume, and I think it's really good there. Okay, so there you have it. There's my look at the San Martin Pilot Watch. So overall, I really think it's a great buy for the price that they are asking, about $142. It's a really great way to introduce yourself into the world of San Martin watches. They have some other great pieces that I think people should also take a look at. But I think if you're just getting into San Martin and you want to kind of see what it's all about, I think this is a really good watch. And if you are a fan of pilot watches in general, this is a good piece you might want to consider taking a look at. I think the lume on this watch is absolutely fantastic. I think the legibility is great. I think the dial is very clear, and even though it's 40 millimeters, it really is just so easy to read. It feels bigger than 40, but it really isn't. And the bead blasting was really great on it. I think it just adds to the tool watch aesthetic and the tool watch vibe and look to it. But I want to know what you think. So why don't you leave me a comment below and tell me your thoughts on this San Martin Pilot watch. And if you can think of any other Pilot watches kind of in this price range, maybe the Seiko, maybe the Orient, maybe you've had experience with those, let me know. Let me know what you think about those. Do you think those kind of stack up with this San Martin? I'd like to hear about it. And while you're there, please consider leaving a like and a subscribe to this channel for more content like this. I really appreciate the subscribes. I really appreciate the comments that you guys have given to me. Thank you so much. And if I have you for another minute or two and you're looking for some more watches from AliExpress, I put a link to some of these over here. Why don't you go check those out? Thanks again for watching.